Hey guys, I know it's been a while, but here's another video. This is my new Acer C720P Chromebook that I got just as of late, and I have to say, this kind of reversed all of my previous opinions about Chromebooks, although there are still quite a few flaws with it overall. Now this Chromebook has a couple of USB ports. It has one USB 3 port on the left side, another on the right, I believe, along with an SD card port, a Kensington lock, and another, just an HDMI port, as well as a audio out and its power port. Now, this little Chromebook, for what it is, a $299 Chromebook, does its job pretty well. I mean, I've used it only at school, which is where I got it from. It's part of a school distribution program. And for browsing the web and creating basic web documents, it's a great computer. But I have had a few faults with it since I got it. For what I've seen, along with most of my colleagues' Chromebooks, there's a lot of wear appearing around the corners here, both on the left and right side, just from basic use. And as well as on the keyboard, my keyboard is already starting to accumulate oils from the skin, and it's starting to look very shiny only after about 2 months of use. So keep that in mind. Overall, the build quality is pretty decent for a $300 laptop. I don't know if anyone regards Acer as a really high-quality manufacturer. I mean, I certainly don't. But they did a nice job with this. And as you may see from this conveniently labeled sticker here, it does, as a matter of fact, have a touchscreen. And for one, I don't really enjoy touchscreen laptops. I feel that they're kind of a confused experience, and that it seems, Acer developed and Google developed the mousepad to work perfectly. We have plenty of gestures, and it's a very comfortable experience. But when you're holding out your hand 2 feet from, where you are, it becomes very uncomfortable after a short period of time. But the display itself works very well. There is some scrolling, as you can see, but it also works better with the touchpad, in my opinion. Now, the display, being only 1366 by 768, just 720p, you'd think it'd be okay, but considering the fact that the Chromebook is 11 inches, it's a pretty decent pixel density, so I would regard it as a decent display. And it does go fairly bright as well, which I'm impressed with. Now, the only real gripes I have about this Chromebook are not because of its hardware, but rather because of the software it's using, which is Chrome OS. And it doesn't necessarily have a version number tied to it, but I can tell you this much, it's been out for a couple of years now, and it is still a glitchy mess, at least on this Acer C720P. From time to time, on my school's network, and although it may be partially to blame, the Chromebook will lose connection after unsleeping it, and this occurs with almost everyone's Chromebook. And although this may be just the school's network, I also have reason to believe that it's every Chromebook's hardware because, well, we're all sharing the same issue. Additionally, when I'll be minimizing Windows or using the feature like Apple's Mission Control where it brings up all the tabs, there will often be graphical glitches, there'll be lines appearing across the screen, and this doesn't seem to be an actual fault with the graphics card, but rather just the software. And Google is constantly releasing software updates, so that doesn't seem to be a large issue. Hopefully it will be fixed in the future. But it's just the fact that it's been out so long now, Chrome OS, that you'd think they would have fixed it by now. Not to mention, the battery life on this Chromebook seems to be pretty good as well. When I'm using it, as I usually will, which is just light web browsing, typing up some documents, I'll get about a good 8.5 hours out of it. And that oftentimes spans across 3 days for me. So I may only end up charging it two times a week, which is pretty good considering I'm coming from a Dell Inspiron, which might get an hour out of its old battery if I'm lucky. Now, being that this is a Chromebook, and I do have just a touch of bias against the Chromebook, Not because it's a bad machine, but simply because Google's ecosystem right now is so confused. Now, I have a Nexus 7, as you can see right here, and one of the things I love about it is the fact that you can get an application like a file manager and have complete control over your device. And this right there makes it such a functional device, practically like a desktop or laptop computer. A fully fledged one, that is. And Chrome OS, you know, on an Acer C720P, a device that's nearly $100 more expensive, and, well, it's a full-feature laptop, it can't browse files. I mean, Google gives you a downloads folder, but that's about it. Not to mention you only have 16 gigabytes of storage, and they really want you to have everything in the cloud. But I feel like Google needs to offer more options for those who want to get serious work done on their Chromebook, because otherwise it's never really going to take off anywhere other than the school environment, where nothing more than Word documents need to be done, because it really just feels like they took Android, made it suitable for, you know, laptops and desktops, and then just cut down all of the customization, all of the useful features, the file managing. It just doesn't feel right. But my bias against Chromebooks aside, this is still a very decent Chromebook, and I can recommend anyone who's interested in a new Chromebook taking a look at it. And not to mention, look at the adorable little cell phone charger they give you with it. Thanks, Acer.